believe me, here it is, and I'm not running away from it, but I never signed up for it. And there's a lot of things we don't sign up for in life that we face and we grow and we get stronger through it. So here it is in closing. Your nonsense is now, and your lies and your accusations and your behaviors are affecting our children. It's now end of the road. Let's close this down, let's fix this and make it right. But I'm not putting up with this anymore. Stop playing games with me. And stop messing around with my life and our businesses and our children with your falsehoods. It's the end of the road. Yeah, so another edition of the Waugh Rooms. Chris Nash. You know, I am. Portington Bear. And I'm a bear here to talk about two things. I'm here to talk about, you know, we've got 5 hours of recordings earlier. We've got a lot there. We're going to be narrowing it down into small little clips with little headings and subheadings and all that sort of thing. We're going to be doing updates to that. What's happened since, what the people are doing about that, how they're taking that information, taking their names out and then re-uploading it, and then YouTube taking it down because they're breaching copyright and interfering with our intellectual property and so on and so forth. Again, acts of quiet or loud desperation. You know, these people don't want their names out there. Most of them, 99% of people have got their identities and their houses and their homes and their children and everything else behind pseudonyms, behind nom de plumes. And to some extent, especially for the children, in fact, totally for the children, that is understandable. But these are the people who are coming out with statements that they do not have the courage of their conviction to validate, to verify, or to prove. If you look at the first lines of the Daily Mail article, this isn't the subject of or the outcome of years or months or years of fact-finding and investigative journalism. What we have here is quite simply a few lines at the top saying, these are the accusations. In fact, they don't even use the word allegation or allegatory. They use the word accusations. There are people that are making accusations against us, and of course, there's a reason for that. So I want to talk about the reason for it. I want to talk about three things here. I want to talk about the intention, the intention of the tyrants, trolls, the modus operandi of that intention, and finally I want to talk about what the expected result is in line with that intention and what it is so far. So I'm going to talk about what the intention is first. I'm going to then go to the MO, and then I'm going to go to the outcome, the conclusion, what they're looking for. In other words, when will they go away? And what would it take? And the second thing I want to talk to you about is what I'm doing to protect ourselves. What I'm doing here to protect ourselves, to protect our children, to protect our lives, to protect our interests, and how indeed it's affecting our children. Apparently some people of these tyrants, these trolls, most notably Richard Howard, who we're going to talk about. There's lots of people we're going to be talking about, but Richard Howard's one of them. Probably the worst person we've ever come across at Lighthouse, for many, many reasons. A criminal, you can go check that up, who incriminated himself through ripping other people off, and incriminated himself through causing problems and challenges to other people through trolling, through sending them nasty cakes with whatever it made into a passport because the person controlled about him ripping them off. Anyway, it's a long story, but you can look it up. We're going to have a whole site, and each person that we're dealing with is going to have their own site with their own case study on it, and we'll update it regularly, and it will be made. We will make sure that the people who need to know this information will get that information. But we're no longer going to put up with this. We waited the better part of a year before we acted. We did it thinking, well, they're childish, they're going to go away, but they're not going to go away because it's a certain pathology that is orchestrating this very toxic, very destructive situation. But what is intention? If you ask them, they'll tell you, well, the intention is because I'm looking after myself. Okay, Jo Holmes, I'm looking after myself. When she was doing her, award acceptance speech after the Daily Mail article came out, like she was winning an Oscar, okay, or something. Okay. And another one is, I'm looking after other people's interests with false information. False information is going to do this. False accusation is going to do this. Provably false accusations are going to help other people. Any others you can think of that?
No, it's I'm doing it for me or I'm doing it for others. Or the one that obviously doesn't get said.
Yes.
You're going to come
yeah.
is the main one.
Yeah.
Really.
There's many different reasons why they say they are doing it, and maybe even some of them are valid. I mean, some of them are true. I mean, they are doing it for themselves. They are doing it because they think they're helping others. Whether they think that or not, they're saying it. But the main reason is because they want to destroy our lives. Let me be clear. They're doing it because, and they will not stop. When will they stop? They will stop probably over a year after they've stopped celebrating. After they have destroyed the lives of people here, the families who have children. They will do it because they are intending to destroy the lives of people here. Our business, our opportunities, our business, our livelihoods. These people are tyrannous. They're tyrants. And they are character and well-being and life assassins across the board. Their intention is to take their hatred, their seething resentment, and their vengefulness, and laugh and mock and scorn and fuel each other up and feed like hyenas, like piranhas, on anything that could cause us harm or hurt us, or in their book, make we look stupid or we look foolish. But the bottom line is that they get much satisfaction, they get much pleasure. This is the pathology we're talking about. They get much, what's the word I'm looking for? And when I look important, significance from doing this sort of thing. However, they don't want it to go to the employer because they don't want the employer to see them that way. They don't want to go to the clients who are paying them if they've got their own business because they don't want to be seen that way. They don't want to place this on their CV because they don't want to be seen that way. People like Jo Holmes have got away with murder so far where they say, well, the school's been behind me all the way. Thanks, school. Well, the question for me, Miss Holmes, is, and anyone like you, is were they behind the tyrant? Were they behind the person that has been part of a rabid pack of dogpiling tyrants who, as much as you possibly can, I thought your teachers were busy, that you deserved your holidays. You seem to have lots of time to do this, Jo Holmes. But are they saying that they supported that? Are they supporting the teacher, but not that? Or are they supporting the teacher and that? Well, we're going to ask them. We're going to ask your school, we're going to ask the council, we're going to ask the support team?
Yeah, the safeguarding.
The safeguarding team. We're going to ask them. And if they don't have a good answer, and they don't do something about this, Ms. Holmes, then we will hold the school accountable from here in Chipping Hill Primary School. We will hold them accountable. We've spoken to the headmaster, Mr. Kerry Jones, with the Welsh spelling of Kerry. I think it's Welsh. And if they are looking after the tyrant, or they are protecting the tyrant and not just the teacher, or they're protecting both the teacher and the tyrant, and they're like a person with this sort of pathology to teach children, I'm interested in that line of inquiry. I'm interested to protect them because I have children. People at Lighthouse have children, and everyone at Chipping Up Primary School has a child who has children. Right, as a parent who has children, sorry. So the bottom line is they want to kill us. When we ask them, they won't say it. What is your intention? How can we negotiate this? How can we make a difference? How can we solve this? They're not interested in solving it, guys. They find an identity in this, before us, way before us. And they're involved in campaigning and forming these sick, false, tyrannical cesspools of toxicity who come out to kill us, to mock us, to go to the press and spread falsehoods, which are now being proven. And believe me, a lot of the evidence we can't actually bring forward. Oh, how convenient, I hear you say. Well, yes, it is inconvenient. Lawsuits are expensive. They cost a lot of money, and it's going to cost you a lot of money because we ain't paying for it. We're paying for it up front, but we're not paying for it in the long term. The bottom line is this, that only a court can we bring these things into the public domain. Through the courts, these things will be made public. And that's why most of these sort of things get sorted. Apologies, compensation, retractions, which is that email we're now working with on, or a rewrite of the article, libel. It all comes out in the judicial and the due diligence within that judicial discovery work and the examination, close examination of the facts that are done publicly with journalists. Journalists can't go away and now lie about it and make up stories and say, well, these were accusations, because the court don't deal with accusations without the facts, without the reality, without doing the investigation work. Like the Daily Mail have done in this case. It's totally understandable. I couldn't understand why everybody was so anti-Daily Mail before I met them. I didn't really understand. Now I understand, and I also understand that they've been actually taken off and kicked off Wikipedia, the only organization of its size, of its scale, of its type, certainly, to be removed from Wikipedia because of this sort of behavior. They make money on the basis that people come to them with accusations and they just write it, he said, she said. While they're ruining people's lives in the name of public interest, in the name of public opinion, or the court of public opinion. But I've come here for two things. I want to make it very, very clear, and I'm going to say it all the way through so we don't lose it here. The first thing is I want to make an announcement here that the reason why these guys are doing, because they don't have the courage to say it, write it down and come out, is that they want to destroy us. And if they're going to destroy us, they're going to destroy us even worse with falsehoods. Now, let's be clear here. If all this was verifiable and what they were saying was true, I'm not talking about what they believe was true or not true. I'm talking about what is true or what is not true. And we did something very, very wrong. It is in the public interest, and they're safe in the public safety. In the public, absolutely. But not when it's an accusation that's unverifiable, ungrounded, unfounded, palpably false, and viciously inaccurate. That even the truth that is in there. The worst things are white lies. You know why white lies are? Because a black lie is just palpably, and quite often, because obviously wrong. But a white lie takes the truth and then turns it into something against the person that is innocent within that truth in order to make them seem bad. And because it's rings true, is verifiably true, it then becomes more difficult to be able to prove that it's false. Except this hack job by the Mail and by their sources, by their tyrants that come in there, our accusers. It's so badly done that it isn't hard. It's like so simply, it's unbelievable. Now we know, we've met these people and we know their families. We know about them. We know about the families. We have probably on each family, I don't know, 1,000 pages each just from the people while they were here, for the problems, the hassles they've had, letters that have been written, toxic, nasty letters like you cannot believe. Can you understand why these things often don't go to court? They get negotiated out of the settlements are made outside. Apologies are made outside. Acceptances of responsibility are made outside of court, because when you go in court, then the whole thing comes out in the wash. And the guilty parties here, it will then come out what the options are. The options for them is whether they make this right before court or they make this right after court, if I should choose to accept the apology in line with that, or accept the apology, accept whatever it is and still take it to court. But that is, of course, I'm going to try my best to find a win-win arrangement, a win-win situation where everyone comes out of this in a better place. And even now I look ahead and I go, what is the best thing that can come out of this? The best thing that can come out of this is that whether these people, these tyrants learn or not, and stop becoming tyrants, turn around and change and turn over a new leaf. But there are many, many people out there, parents with children that are being bullied. What is that survey? They said that we did a survey recently.
Yeah, we did.
And there were parents who said what?
We're just saying, what are the greatest concerns for your children?
Yeah.
What are you looking at? We had a number of different areas listed. It was a sexualization of children, bullying, and mental health and suicide. And then there was other, I think, through that. And over 50% were saying that their greatest concern was the mental health challenges and potential suicide of their children. Even beyond like social media, all the things, technology, social media, violence in the media, all of these things.
Yes.
They're looking at their children and they're going, I can see that you're struggling. Just to go into school every day, the pressures of what's coming into the bedroom.
Yes.
What's coming into their phones, what used to be outside, you're not even safe at home anymore. And it's just tragic. And
it's tens of thousands of these people that have come through and looked at these questions and answered them. Not one or two. And more than 50%, 51 you say?
Yeah.
51% of people are concerned that something will happen in the playground to their child, or something will happen online, and that their child will be damaged. False accusations. Or even true ones, but done in a way where the child doesn't feel they can get help and they become overwhelmed and they get whatever. But so the bottom line is this: when we ask them, what is your aim here? What are you trying to achieve? They say everything else, but we want to destroy you. Even when behind a pseudonym, we want to hurt you, we want you to suffer, and we want to cause you. We want to eliminate you. Basically, we want to cause you massive damage to your opportunities, to your business, to yourself. Now, all these things are connected. And for a year, we watched this unfold, thinking, well, the advice from people was, even solicitors would go, ignore them. Don't fuel it. Just let them carry on. But what they did is they formed this dog pile, they formed this community, and they find an identity in it. Many of these people, they struggle for social acceptance in many, many ways. And so they find this toxic pool. They get significance, they fire off each other, they feel strong, they feel powerful. They never feel cowardly, the keyboard warriors, who are actually keyboard cowards. And we'll talk about a keyboard coward, ironically named Howard, it rhymes, that we'll be talking about now. And but the bottom line is this. Today I'm not here speaking as Lighthouse. Today I'm not here speaking as the chief executive or the chairman or as chief mentor or as a leader or as a benefactor. I'm all of these things. I'm all of these things. I'm here speaking as a father. I'm here speaking as a dad. All the things you said about me, I had a laugh. The snakes and ladders thing? I thought it was so good, I actually framed it. It's a laugh. It's in my study, framed. There was another one recently. What was it?
On the bars.
The one on the bars. Oh, framed. It's so good. It's such. Honestly, I've had a laugh. I mean it, guys. I don't know if it's supposed to hurt me, but it's such good pub talk. It's such. Honestly, they go like, "And what's this with you behind bars? And what's this with you, snakes and ladders? Who did this? Is it a mate of yours?" Oh, no, it's my haters. No, we put it up. It's that good. It's really, if you had to use your imagination for better things, you'd be a multimillionaire, guys. Oh. This is brilliant stuff. Oh. The imagination, do you know how much little imagination that exists here? So I'm not here. As a businessman today, I'm here as a father, and I'm speaking in line with the organization we're now starting now. We're putting everything together called Groundswell, a groundswell of support for each other, a groundswell of support for dads who are and mums and families that are worried about their children and worried about what goes out there. I'm here to as a human being. I know that may surprise you. You know, there's very little humanness around. So when I say as a human being, I mean a human being. Because I'm a human being. With feelings, with emotions, with fears, just like you. But I want to speak to you as a father, as a dad. And I want to say to you that honestly, while we've had a laugh at some of this stuff, we've looked at it in amazement, I have somewhat been somewhat indignant, somewhat outraged, because they're trying to destroy our business. But when the Daily Mail article came out with these false and palpably false and provably false, especially with the evidence when it comes out in court, in relation to our families, our businesses, as people with our children, when it came out at that level, I mean, there's nearly 1 million copies they produce. Daily Mail, and it goes out, right? Then other papers get onto it and they record it. None of it hurt me except this hurt me. And I will tell you now, the trolls, the tyrants, there's a part of me that goes, don't give them that, Paul. Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that you're hurting. Don't tell them that they've drawn blood here. Internal bleeding. Don't tell them that you sat and you cried. Not because I was being mocked. I've been mocked for a year. I've been mocked all my life for something, man. It was when my child cried. Yeah. You see, before that, yeah, you know, that it's in subreddits and it's hidden and it's whatever. But this year, we had to sit down and we had to tell them, because we don't know who's going to come in the playground and what bullies are going to come along and start picking on them. Where the teacher's going to approach them and go, are you okay? And it's exactly the same thing with the tears that have been shed by children. In the same way, we had to go tell all our children. We had to tell all our children. So we told them because we had to protect them. And we had to warn them for what was coming. Not like our kids go out on the way to school, pick up a copy of the Daily Mail, right? They go to school, eat during lunch. Listen, man, think about it. Be real. We're in a situation here where our children are going, Mummy, Daddy, these people hate you. They hate you. We had to go through it with them. Not the very young ones, but the older ones, the older teenagers. They hate you, and I'm now lying in bed at night thinking every noise is maybe them, one of them coming into the house. Do they hate you and hate us that much that they may come into our house? Or they may throw something through my window while I'm sleeping? They're now worried and concerned every car that comes past, is it one of them? In their heads, they don't know what you're capable of doing, what these people are capable of doing. They're just, getting over the boogeyman. And all of a sudden, these people that hate Dad, that clearly wants to kill him, whether it's me or whether it's another mother or parent in Lighthouse. We have many children here. And the people, these trolls, many of them have met these children, haven't they? Wow. They've met them, they've spoken to them.
Heard them over the
phone. Over the phone.
Conference calls.
Yeah, conference call.
When they come say good morning to you.
Yeah.
Were you on the conference call with us? And hi, how are you? Hug. Look, literally hear you hugging them on the phone. They know these children.
That's right.
They know.
One of the reasons why we didn't come full on after you guys, you trolls, you tyrants, is because of your children. Well, we've drawn a line. We have to act now. Because let me tell you what, I'm a father. And if you threaten my children and you cause them pain and suffering, like you have here with false allegations, especially false. If they weren't false, you go, okay, it's my fault. I'm going to handle this with my children. I'm going to make it right with the people. Let me say I'm sorry. Let me make it right. Let me serve my sentence of time, money, effort, or whatever's involved, or all of the above, and make it right and fix it and then say sorry. I can't say sorry for things I haven't done. I can only say sorry for things I have done. I can only make right what I've done wrong. The tyranny here and the problem here and the challenge here is that I can't fix what isn't real, and I can't say sorry for what I haven't done. I can't apologize, I can't make it right, I can't negotiate something that's made up. You can only hold the people accountable for what they've done wrong. But I'm telling you now, guys, you've now affected our children. Now as fathers and as mothers and as parents, along with all the other parents around the world, we are coming. And we're coming for you, not whether you work, whether you're Daily Mail, whether you work at a school, whether you work for a company like Richard Thomas works at Kibo. We will hold your company responsible. We'll give them a chance. We'll give them every warning. We'll give them every chance. And we've already started that process. If they're going to employ you for what you've done here and not hold you accountable and not warn you and not get you to cease and desist, let me tell you now, we will hold them accountable for employing a troll and for harboring this tyranny and for harboring these you tyrants and these tyrants. But now you've touched a nerve. You have now touched a nerve. That's what you've done. You've touched a nerve. You've more than touched a nerve, you've cut one. And it's the last one you cut. There's only one way you can touch me and when it affect me is that now you're affecting our children and you're scaring them. And now they're worried in bed. Now they're thinking that are the people going to come around here? Are they going to follow them in town? Are the press going to be taking pictures of them at school? It goes on and 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 on, and nothing breaks my heart like seeing a child frightened and scared and crying. And you know what, even having said that, the fact that I'm saying this, you know that there's a part of you, not all of you, that likes the fact that you hurt me. Irrelevant, because everything is dispensable. You want to destroy, you want to hurt, and you know you are. You know who you are, and the people know who you are. But freely confess, you finally got me. You hurt me, and you've hurt my partner, you've hurt other fathers and mothers, and you've hurt every person at Lighthouse, not before this, but with the children thing. Nothing is sacred to you people. Nothing is sacred to you. So I'm telling you now, where you work, your clients, and you, I'm holding you accountable. So we're talking about our children and we're worried about them. While I'm doing it, one of our tyrants, our trolls, Richard Howard, goes on Reddit, and what did he write?
Just got a chat. He said, this is just, you can't write this. It's just
what he did.
Well, yeah, sorry. I mean, fix that. So, he wrote, "We have vulnerable children affected by this." Saw it from James Mills, said in one of his comments on our site.
Yes.
Ugh. So this is Richard.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So what does ugh mean, do you think? That this is a disgusting comment, that this is disgusting, that we are saying there are children here that are being affected by false allegations. Yeah. False, not even allegations. What are they? False accusations. The Daily Mail couldn't even use the word allegations. They had to use the word accusations, and they used the word allegations in an email to me. Yeah. They used the word accusations. The legal their team obviously said, can't use the word allegations, use the word accusations. Yeah. Have us as little as at least complicit we could possibly be with these people.
Exactly.
With these tyrants. Okay, carry on.
The levels Lighthouse will sink to try and stop people sharing their point of view about them is truly unbelievable. Poor little kiddies are reading these new articles and this subreddit, are they? An attack on Lighthouse is an attack on children. How stupid. I'm sure the children of Lighthouse kids are far more affected by the recent admission by LIG that the community interest company does sod all. It's their intention to help 800 million people drink clean water, one day. For now, 100% of the money from courses, mentoring, associated elect sales will stay with the Lighthouse Partners and for the upkeep of Paul Waugh's £2 million house and other toys. One could say, by continuing this policy, we have vulnerable children affected by this.
Right. Let's just talk about the pathology, the type of person we're dealing with, this Richard Howard. and this will be going on his website and connected with his clients and connected with his world, until we either come to a settlement out of court, or, and he's including ceasing and desist, or he goes to court and is handled. Because he's used to go to court. This is a criminal. This guy has a criminal record. Am I right?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. How does it, what's the background? Give us some background there for everyone to understand. Who would write that sort of thing? Well, let's talk about the track record of this man. It jumps from business to business. He doesn't have a business that's lasted 18 years.
Yeah.
Okay? This man jumps from business to business because he's always, he gets to a business, hits the end of the road, he tries to fleece people, and then goes and starts another business. This is the person that we're talking about, and brazenly puts his name there. And you may go, well, geez, that's brave. It isn't. It's suicidal. It's crazy. I can understand more why people would be behind pseudonyms doing this than not. Okay, while I say you're a coward being out of the pseudonym, not doing this very thing that they're doing here against us to try to destroy us and our lives and our families. Because you can't destroy our businesses and our reputations with falsehoods and it not affect our children. How stupid. Listen, are you just biased and prejudiced, Mr. Howard, or are you a moron? Which one is it? Or both? Okay? This is evil, man. Justified in the name of good. That's exactly what evil does. Bad stuff done to destroy other people in the name of good. The pure definition of human evil. Right there. M. Scott Peck. Carry on.
No, I mean, and all of this is in the public domain, just for the just to make that clear to everyone. But he's operated a number of websites. He keeps on operating a number of different websites to be able to almost masquerading as being the UK passport office and charging people excess fees, of which he was found guilty of. He had to pay £200,000 fine for actually doing that, misleading advertising, aggressively pursuing people when they realized that they weren't actually dealing directly with the passport office. They said, well, we don't want to use the service. Why are we paying you extra when we could just go directly there? You're actually offering nothing extra for this. He had 800 people that he took to court, including a 16-year-old girl who he was harassing in terms of trying to actually get the money back from her. And then through all these smaller courts, people, and he even changed his name in the process of this from Mr. Howard to George Orwell.
Wow.
To try and actually cause more chaos for the prosecution.
Yes.
For the Crown Court, I think it was for the prosecution that was actually happening there. And so I think that looking at the level of hatred that exists here, I think we've got a bit of a road ahead with Mr. Hart, because he fought this, and that's what you're referring to earlier. Actually, one of the people who held him accountable, he sent them a passport cake to saying, like, I still own you, even though you won that. I'll still mock you, I'll still haunt you with this cake, sending it anonymously.
This is a sort of pathology. This is sort of psychopathic behavior. I won't say he's a psychopath. I'll leave it up to you to think about that. But this is sort of psychopath that people are doing a whole new business. Do you know what business he's doing now?
I've got to check. Well, I know what it does. Is basically, and this I think is
he's a new business now. He's not doing passports any longer. He's been banned from that. He's now have a criminal record for that.
Yes.
And by the way, there's a police investigation on him right now. By the way.
Yes.
I've got the case numbers here. I've got everything. They're busy investigating him, and they're particularly interested in him because of his criminal past and how he's damaged other people, and in more ways than one, and so on. So they're really interested in this man, Mr. Richard Howard. Kiddies, what a word! Poor little kiddies. I mean, this is This is the sort of thing that, if there's any decency in the rest of the people that are dogpiling with this guy, would go, I don't want to have anything to do with him. Let me have a good look at myself and go, you know what, the intention is to destroy these people.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff, while I believe it's true, may be false. But let's have this go through the court. Yeah. And then let's just suspend judgment until that happens. Or let's see where this goes. Let's see where this Daily Mail article goes. Will it be retracted, which is in the process? My solicitors later on this very thing. Cohen Davis, who have tracked down, put injunctions on, held people accountable in court for many people. We're talking about Cohen, who is the prominent and preeminent lawyer when it comes to handling people online for doing the sort of things that these tyrants, these trolls are doing. Okay? Anything else you can add?
Basically posts people's mail out. So it actually sends out, you send through an email and then they take it and they wrap it up and they post it out for you, doing a mail service doing that.
Okay. So people are actually sending their private stuff to this pathology, to this man, to this person.
You can see why his name, I looked up, his name's not on the on his actual new business's website.
So Richard Howe's name is nowhere in any of the records or business or whatever.
If you do quite a bit of digging, but
yes.
you can understand why he'd try and hide
yes.
it. Which
Yes.
is going, well,
yes.
why would you then put your name directly like that on Reddit? And this is something I thought was like Daily Mail.
Is this the man that called us stupid?
Yeah.
The same one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I noticed the Daily Mail didn't mention him at all, even though he's been one of the main, he's a client of ours.
Yes.
So I wonder why that is.
Yes. No, that's fascinating.
So
He sounds like he's like 100 people living in that one body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
100 minds, 100, like a schizophrenic thing going on. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I'm just saying. There seems to be a lot of people living in Mr. Richard Howard. And he's got lots of names as well that he uses, aliases that he's using, because there's all these personalities that need a name.
Yeah. And so it takes a lot for the Daily Mail not to use someone.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't they?
Yes. He's not credible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, and he's discrediting
a school teacher that, sorry.
No, sure.
Sorry.
And it's saying that, I think what they don't realize online, and they constantly hide behind the term opinion because whatever, legally or whatever they think they can hide behind that as a term. But as soon as someone, you offer racist comments, you can't say that's your opinion. That becomes now hate speech and then the attempt to assassinate. And and when you are commenting on someone else, they are colluding together. So they are associating with Mr. Howard. They are associating with, if they not distance themselves from Mr. Howard's comments around children, they are complicit.
Well, the bottom line is this. These people, as a group and individually, have one motivating force. And it's not their opinion. Oh, that's the one I was looking for. It's our opinion. We're putting our opinion, our experiences online. Okay? This isn't a simple going on, what's it called? TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
And going, I had a bad meal. And the manager came out and he was hot, sweaty, red and rude. Okay? All right? Okay? This is somebody these are people that for over a year now have an orchestrated, based on falsehoods, because the Daily Mail wouldn't have an article if they had to write the reality and write the truth. They wouldn't have an article. It's like a soap opera. If they just had to write things about mentoring and coaching and it's all good, they wouldn't have a soap opera. There wouldn't be any opera in the soap. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. So at the end of the day, the bottom line is they've had a coordinated, a poor one, I might add, but nevertheless, orchestrated campaign to kill us, to damage us, to put us out of business, to ruin our lives. Okay? Does that make sense? And I keep on about the £2 million house and all that sort of stuff. This is a working place. Here we are working. There are people here all the time. We got this place because we couldn't do this work with the amount of people that come here all the time and come and stay and whatever. This is a working place. People come and stay. People can come and work. We can have meetings till 2 in the morning and then go to bed. They have to get in the car and drive. Have a glass of wine with me or whatever before they go, whatever. This is a working home. We got this. Before that, I lived in a very small home and I drove a Mini. I'm not a material person. Anyone who will tell you I have very simple. Seriously, boring. Okay? I wear M&S clothes and all this sort of stuff. Listen, man, I'm not Mr. Trendy. I'm Mr. Trendy life coaching. I mean, my God. I mean, it's so funny. Really. Seriously. And if it was true, it would be fine. We are trendy. We're not trendy. We do our life coaching sessions at the local trendy wine bar. You know what I mean? So seriously, man. We got this house because it's rather people stay in hotels, rather than people, have to go into coffee shops. They could come in here. This is an open house. How many people have keys to my home?
Yeah.
Loads and loads of people have keys to my home, keys to my car, keys that they walk around with my bank cards. I don't even have, how's this? I don't even have signing powers to our company accounts. My name's not even on them. Paul Waugh, my name is not on our company accounts. Oh, wow, I can see why that is. That was because what? Okay, in other words, these guys can run away with they've got my personal accounts, those are my name. Okay. They have, they carry around cards of mine. Yeah. Out of my card. You got a card of mine?
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, you got a card in there. Right, there we go. Adam, got a card of mine? Yeah. There we go. I'm just saying, I'm a pretty open, I'm not a communist, okay? But you'd think I was, okay?
You need to read that website.
Which one?
The one, Paul Waugh. Apparently there's this person called Paul Waugh who is a communist.
Oh, is it? Oh, on the website?
Yeah, you.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant, because all these Paul Wars are coming up from everywhere all of a sudden.
You would guess that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to say that there's people here all the time working. We're working now. We're in our home. Yes, we take away the picture of the children, all here, the pictures of children, there's like about 7 lovely, beautiful frames of children. We're making sure that there's none of our children here. I'll come back when we finish. They're all over there. Picture over there. Picture here. I think it was 7 here, wasn't it? We put them back after. But the bottom line is this. This is the motive. The motive is to destroy us. The motive is to hurt us. And I'm telling you, I'm coming after you personally. As a father. Not as a businessman. You have now touched the apple of my eye. Let me tell you that. And these kiddies that you heard, Mr. Howard, you have now touched the apple of my eye with these false accusations through the mail. They will print a retraction or they'll rewrite the article. One way or the other, we will pull every single thing that's ever been through this company, every fact pertaining to any tyrant here that is directly or indirectly affecting our children. You have now tickled the dragon's tail far too long, and now you've affected my children and our children. And the stories that I'm getting now, little boys, little girls crying because we had to tell them, and now they're worried and now they're scared. This is what you're doing. You're affecting real lives and real people here. And now, not only that, we're going to prove that these accusations are indeed false. The process has already begun. Still, there are stupid people, like the person in Australia. What's her name? One of our partners, Chris Douglas, senior partner, and his family, who have just turned on him. I mean, my God, who needs enemies? You've got a family like Chris Douglas' family. Who needs enemies?
No, you don't need them.
No, apparently that they're amazing people, though, except for this one thing. They're amazing when it's nice. It's nice to be nice when it's nice. But when it isn't, and they're not happy, then this is what they turn on their own, like this way.
Yes.
And the hatred towards him and the hatred towards all this, all in the name of love. Yes. Again, this is evil. This is pure evil.
Yes.
And let me tell you this for free. It's all for free, except for the consequences. They're not for free. Let me tell you this, that when you look at the intentions here, the modus operandi, being online and forming groups, toxic trials, and you look at the end result is to cause massive, horrible, nasty damage to a family, because ultimately it's affecting humans who are part of families. Let me just say this. If you think you can pick up one end of the pen or the stick and not pick up the other, you're breaking a fundamental law. You cannot go out there and willfully, you don't have a process, you don't have due course to go to court and do any of this stuff because you know any lawyer will tell you don't have a case. Because we haven't done anything wrong. That's why you don't have a case. And so because of that, you decide to go online and destroy people's lives that are now affecting children. Because of you, nothing's happened to you in a year or 2 or 3 or whatever it may be. Doesn't mean it doesn't all add up. And eventually it'll get you. Right? There's a particular person I'm very interested in at the moment. I'm now looking into big stuff. I've got a private investigation on this person. What is this person? I thought it was a woman because of the way they act. Someone, maybe a man, I don't know, but it acts like a woman. When I say a woman, like a vicious, pathologically unstable, snowflake sort of radical left woman. But apparently it may be a man. But nevertheless, this is where we come from, a real nasty, passive-aggressive human being that's apparently been very damaged by cult before this. called, what's it called here?
Educovictim.
Throwawayeducovictim. And Throwaway, what an appropriate name. A pseudonym that is. Throwing away your life, throwing away the lives of others. But Throwaway, let me tell you now, and you know I'm talking to you because your pseudonym doesn't cover you listening to me. For me, my own experience of cults, I've never met a cult, never met anybody from a cult. But let me tell you now for free, the only cults I've met are families. The people that are coming out of families. These toxic groups called families that hide behind the name family, hide behind the name mum and dad, hide behind the name family or siblings or brothers and sisters. The cultish behavior that comes out of families, the abuse that happens behind closed doors, make cults, from what I've heard of them, and there are some terrible ones. Okay, Nexium, for example, Ranieri. Pretty mild. In fact, it's been proven now they're actually good cults, they're not all bad. But in any case, having said that, seriously, astonishing that the most cultish, abusive, nasty, controlling, coercive or otherwise groups are behind closed doors, are hide behind, in plain sight, behind family, the word, the institution, behind the word or within the word. It's absolutely astonishing that families need to be held accountable for their cultish behavior, because they're not communities, they're not families, they're cults. They operate like cults. You've got the cult leaders, the parents, or you've got one sibling that just rules everyone else, including the parents, and they rule everyone else. Little tyrant. Ten God, who are controlling people. We have them here. We have the people trying to come here, and then these parents, they turn on us. And they're not worried about our children. Honestly, they're not worried about their own. They're worried about their power and control with those children. They're not worried about, this poor will have a child. Will they be worried? Will they be affected? How can we make sure that when we do this, we don't affect the children? And I don't care where you go, I'm scared. He's after me personally. I don't want you to be scared. I want you to be responsible. And I want you to pay the price for your falsehoods. Pay a price. In line with the most important thing here overall, that's protection of our children. Before this, I didn't get online, didn't do any of this. I didn't do any of this with the Daily Mail, I didn't do any of the stuff, I had these things, except for another one in my home, in my study, which you've seen, okay, about trolls. I'm now here regularly. It's going to be if it's not every day, it's going to be twice or 3 or 4 times a week. It's going to be updates. I'm protecting my family now, and I'm protecting my children because they are now being affected. And they're being affected not by truths, they're being affected by falsehoods. And let me tell you what your problem is. You can't defend falsehoods, not for long. In the clear light of day through a due process, you cannot hide. You cannot get away from it. It is impossible. The bottom line is this. In almost every single case here, it's about a refund. And it's only, honestly, maybe a handful or 2, or 1.5 handfuls, all right, of people, all right? You can count on 2 hands. They've come here and left. And it's about a refund. They can't say it's about a refund. Right? They can't say it's about a refund. Because people go, well, grow up, get over it. So what you do is you create a whole story about this terrible place, this terrible business, this terrible cult leader, this terrible, and you try to find as many of these, and you try different things to see if they'll stick. Okay, because you wanted a refund. If I'd given you refunds every single time, we would not be here. But the bottom line is, I cannot set a precedent for that. There are companies now that we're now helping. We've got a whole new product and service here now that indirectly you've created. Because of our experience here, we've found people here that we're now meeting who've literally had to close their doors because of people like these towns here. Because they wouldn't give them a refund. They wouldn't own a refund. And it happened so many times where they actually ended up paying a refund because they didn't want to be threatened. They didn't want to have this. Giving people free meals. The restaurants and the pubs that are closing down now because people will go there with the express idea of getting a free meal or a free drink or something thrown in and complaining from it. They're literally going under because of people doing this stuff. Shops going under Because people go to the high street, go out. Women are most guilty of this by a long, long way. And they'll go out and they'll do their thing and they'll come back and they'll steam it. They even go on YouTube and find out how you can do this. And they'll steam the dress and whatever it is they've been wearing, and then they'll take it back all wrapped up nicely with the label put back on it, and they'll go get their refund after they've been out with it the night before. This is what we're dealing with. Businesses are going under because of the sheer abuse of returns with flexible return policies, flexibility that is based on fear of what goes online, even when that is not owed. I'm setting a precedent here. This is not just about me. This is about people out there that are scared that their child will be bullied because I've got a shop or I've got a business and my child goes to the same school as my child, and I don't want them to gang up on my child while I'm at work because of my business dealing. Yeah. People are held over a barrel by people who demand a refund where it is absolutely not due. And I'm drawing a line because let me tell you what, I might as well close my doors. If people are going to come here, we've got to work for years on a measly £25 investment. And when we break it down for the work and the time involved, in themselves, not 25 investment in us, in themselves. Universities wouldn't be possible if every person that ever did a degree practiced the law or whatever they'd studied for 5 years or 10 years, left and went and open up a pickle business doing pickles or whatever it may be, and now they want to. It never happened. It never worked out for them, or they got a degree and now they can't get a job. That's a big one. They go get a degree and now they can't get a job. I mean, there are millions of people around the world. There are million people in this country that have done a degree and can't get a job. Millions. Okay, tens of millions around the world. Imagine if they all went to university and said, I came here in good faith, got my degree, because apparently this is going to help me get a job, and I haven't been able to get one. There wouldn't be universities. Yeah. It's exactly the same thing. All right? This is about refunds. And that the fact that there were people here who didn't deserve one and we didn't give it to them. Seriously. And now we've got Mr. Richard Thomas. Mr. Brain Man. This is Mr. Clever Man. Who thinks he's so clever sitting on his false, how does it go? false article. Even where there's truths. False. Dressing up with falsehoods. Here's a person who, here we are, and I think I said this. Did I say this on the other ones? I'll keep it short. That he comes, I try to get hold of him because I'm worried about his health. And I hear that his wife is persecuting him and screaming at him. I've heard the recordings, and she's screaming at him because she's talking to us. Right? So there's no respect for him as a father or as a husband. So you know that straight away, there's no respect. He's one of the sons. He's just, and she's mummy, and he's got a few boys, and he's one of the boys. Does that make sense? With mummy, what's her name? Mummy Antonia Thomas. So she's wearing the trousers and boys, she screams if she doesn't, right? From what I'm getting here. And at the end of the day, I hear that he's not well. I hear that he's being persecuted. I hear that he's really in agony. He was a lot of pain. I was contacting him regularly, finding out how he was. And I contacted him and said, listen, this is not worth it for you. Now, I want you to ask me. I mean, just work with me here. Everyone listening? Mr. Thomas, you're listening? Of course you are. And I'll say to you on text, listen, man, this is not worth it, man. I can see you stressed. I can see that you're in pain, you're in trouble. Your wife, your mummy, doesn't want you to, talk to me, probably. That's what I'm surmising. I don't know this for sure. I don't do false accusations. And I'll correct them very quickly if I do. And I say to you by text, it's on my phone, I've got 9 of them. 9, and all unanswered, Mr. Thomas. And we're in a situation where I say, come and get your money back. Come and meet me. That you came in on a handshake, Mr. Thomas. Let's go out on a handshake. Come up, I'll give you a check. I use that word. I say, come on, I'll give you money, I'll give you a check. Come in, because you've never met my family, you've never met. Let's be friends. I want you to get well. You are suffering. You're in a bad way. Come up here, shake hands, I'll give you a check. And now we're in this place where you're on the front of a... How do you get from that place where I offer you that? Mr. Thomas, it's unbelievable. You got to look at yourself, man. Are you able to look inside? At all? You are a father with children, putting yourself and your family in this position where now they are going to be soon in the same position as us. And the only position, the only reason for that is because I'm protecting mine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have done it a year ago.
Yeah.
I would have moved in on you, or 6 months ago at least. And I haven't moved in on you like this. These people that are attacking us, and this is our community, and we're being attacked by these people. Go to and be sitting on, on my Daily Mail article, talking about you and everyone else. That's these tyrants that are ganging up on us and putting up all these false things online and wanting to destroy us and wanting to kill us with these false allegations. We could have our own press article, and we could have had me sitting on the front instead of you. Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I don't have connections in this area? Oh no, not more connections. I'm nearly 60, man. I've had 18 businesses. Of course I'm connected. Just because you want. Okay? And anyway, I don't even believe you believe that. Because it's just nonsense. Just nonsense. It's anything to belittle or run down. You're tyrants. It's who you are. Haters. And so, at the end of the day, how do we get from, come up, let me shake your hand and give you a hug, and let's stay friends? That's, well, not even stay friends. I don't even think it would be even an issue. I know you're having a problem with your wife. I know she hates me. Joe Holmes has poured poison in her ear. And just nonsense. Hearsay. Nonsense. Into her ear. She's now attacking you. And I'm worried about you, Mr. Thomas. I'm worried about you, Richard. Come and see me over a handshake. I'll give you a check. I wrote it down. It's on writing. You've got it there. Was that in the Daily Mail? Oh, that didn't suit. So you ignore that. So I write another one. And you ignore that, so 4 or 5 days later, a week later, I write another one. 9 texts, I wrote you, asking you to come up here so we could make it right. We don't hear from you for, 6 to 8 months. The next thing, you still don't get in contact with me. You get in contact with Sean Cooper, who was your mentor, and you say, well, everything's positive, you go. Like, we've got to believe it. Like, where have you been? Everything's positive and everything's fine and whatever. I don't believe what's happening with these trolls and what they're saying. It's a lot of nonsense. We've got it all in writing. You said it to us. You know that. Like everything else we have in writing. Everything else we have in whatever. We don't need contracts. We have everything in writing. Verbal agreements are binding. What we need to know is that this is what we've said and we agree on it, on a handshake. It may be on a handshake, but it's still recorded. It may be on a handshake, but it's still in the transcript. It's an agreement. We have agreements. Not no agreement. We have an agreement. We just don't have signature. Get a lawyer come along. Well done. Please, man. And it's going to cost an extra $2,000 to do. You're going to be kidding me. Okay. That would just be for your costs. It'll cost you more. Okay. So at the end of the day, how do we get, Mr. Thomas? How do we get? Because you haven't answered this, and we've asked you online, or we've had people that have come here and queried this, and then they've gone online. Whatever it may be. The bottom line is this. I'm asking you, and I'm asking anybody listening to this. How do we get from this place where the wife hates me, the wife's best friend who's pouring poison in her ear, who's now hating me and nailing her husband who's ill, Richard Thomas, Antonia Thomas going on Richard Thomas. Joe Holmes is the friend who's pouring toxic stuff in his ears because she wants happiness with the new boyfriend. Okay, and so she wants her money back. Things have changed. Forget our costs. How do we get, Mr. Thomas? Can anybody help me how this works? Because maybe I've missed something. It's something psychological or whatever. But just, please, man, I've been around a while, but it doesn't make me perfect. Can anybody please give me some logic, something coherently logical, yeah? Where it started off with that act of goodwill, where I'm offering a check. I'm offering you to come up into my home, stay the night, have dinner with me, and maybe never see you again because mummy won't let you. Your wife won't let you. Okay? And as a result of that, how do we end up here, Mr. Thomas? How do we end up in a place where you're sitting in the newspaper like you've been sorely done by this terrible, nasty person who, when you asked for a refund, didn't give it to you? And then join all the people you said you didn't believe in because now you're not getting your money back. Why did you get your money back? What did we tell you? We didn't say we weren't going to give you money back. We said, we think, we've got an investigation going. We have reason to believe that your wife, along with Joe Holmes, is actively involved in breaking our interests down here, affecting us, our businesses, our opportunities, and our families, and by extension, our children. We believe that this is happening. We may still give you a refund anyway. That wasn't good enough for you. It wasn't good enough for you to get a handshake. Come up or us meet somewhere. You didn't have to come up. Your reason for that? Because it was a demand. It wasn't a demand, it was an invitation. I invited you to come up. You could have said no. You didn't even answer me. You didn't give me a no. You never gave me a yes. You never gave me, oh, that's nice, but no thanks. Sorry, I can't contact you. Sean, I can't speak to Paula. My mummy, Antonia, and my wife has told me I can't, because Antonia's his mother. Okay? This is what's going on here. Okay? And so he can't now because mummy's told him not to. And so now, as a result of this, or something like that. So how do we get, Mr. Thomas? Please help me. I'm still jammed. How do we get from I'm offering you a check in goodwill that I don't owe you to you heading up a false accusatory situation where you are leading false accusations through the national press in relation to me? And I'm attached to a lot of parents and a lot of children and a lot of businesses and a lot of interests. How do we get from that situation of goodwill to this situation? How is that clever? How is that wise? How is that even logical? But this is the sort of human being, man. The sort of pathology. The sort of human being we're dealing with. Do you understand? This is not normal. Any normal person would have gone, oh, geez, man, how's this guy? Wow, he's backing everything up he's ever said. He doesn't owe me this, but I'm ill. And he's offered me an opportunity. He's offered me. Let me go up. I'm not going to go up. Maybe he can come to me, or maybe I can meet him. He blanked me and then said everything was positive.
Yeah, and he said that he'd speak for us. The very voice that you hear
if we gave him a refund.
So basically, it's not. So all these other things. So he's either saying that even though we did all these other bad things, he's now saying that we are and that we did. If we gave him the money, he'd still speak for us, which says volumes about your lack of character.
Blackmail.
It's a blackmail.
It's a form of blackmail. It's a soft blackmail.
Yeah, so he's saying that you're actually these horrible people, but if you give me money, I'll speak for you. I mean, who does that make you? If you believe all this stuff.
Yes.
Or you were with them actually all along.
Yes.
And as Paulie, and that's why you got so upset when Sean and Paulie said, just please, we're right in the middle of this. This is full on. Just let's give it a year, some breathing time, and then you kicked off because you knew within a year it was all going to come out.
Yes.
And here we are.
Yes.
With you at the forefront.
Yes.
And we know your wife's pseudonym, by the way.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Just for the record, that's going to be going up online soon.
Yeah. 100%. And if I were you, seriously, you've got children. Make this right, Mr. Thomas. Please, let's not go here. You've got children and let's not even go there. Okay, so you've got two children, or two boys.
Boy and a girl.
A boy and a girl.
Yeah,
where'd I get two boys from? Richard
someone
Thomas and the son. Okay, so really at the end of the day, the bottom line is this: is that he's a child, man. He behaves like a child. He sits there with his very serious face, and he's like, he means business. But seriously, man, this guy's highly driven by mummy. And at the end of the day, it's embarrassing. Seriously, it is. It's embarrassing. Maybe it's not because you're so used to it. But the bottom line is this: this is the person who's now harming my children, and the children of other people here. Some of them very young, some of them doing A-level exams. Some of them doing GCSEs. Children commit suicide over that already. They're already that stressed. And now they have this happening.
It's shocking.
Seriously. So at the end of the day, what you need to understand here, guys, all right, is I don't want to have your wife involved and your Mr. Thomas. I've tried before to try and give you a handshake and leave, and you wouldn't. You've turned all my handshakes away. So here's an opportunity for you to make it right. It's going to be harder now, and it's going to cost more. But I'm telling you now, your children are involved, sir. I've held back already, Mr. Thomas, because Mr. Richard Thomas, of Kiba, the business.
Keep commerce.
Kiba Commerce. You've already employed a lawyer to look into your interests and what you're doing here. Okay? I will tell you now for free. Please don't let this affect your children like you have affected mine. I'm asking you, please, for your children's sake. Don't get carried away to think it's never going to happen. It is going to happen. And I do not want this to happen, okay, with other members of the press that are now I'm speaking to. And whoever. Please protect your children. Please protect your children. Mr. Howard. Mr. Thomas. Mr. Richard Thomas. Please let us not be there where your children get affected as mine have. As you've affected mine, I'm really trying to not be the person you are, whether short-sighted or just malevolent, or both. For whatever reason. I don't want to be you. And I don't want to be that person. Your judgment is so bad, Mr. Thomas, that you got from come and get it checked and shake hands and leave because you're ill, to where we are now, where you're in the front there saying that you're holding me accountable as a businessman because I never gave you a refund after all that. The fact that you can get from that offer of a handshake and a check in your hand when I didn't owe to you at all, and I still don't, to this situation now beggars belief. And you think you're intelligent, and you think that you have some wisdom, and you think you're responsible as a father and as a human being. You just aren't. It's embarrassing, Mr. Thomas. It's very, very, very embarrassing that we could get from that situation of goodwill and kindness to this position where we are now with you. Don't think that you can from here all of a sudden that's going to change. Have a look at this very carefully and go, what is the worst case scenario? What can actually happen here? And let's get together and try and make it right. Let's try, and by the way, I'm saying this to everybody. Come forward. Delete the stuff, clean it up, and let's fix this. It's going to cost. It's going to cost time, it's going to cost money, it's going to cost effort. There's a lot of things involved here. But let's make it right before it's too late for you, because now it can only be bad for you. You've done your worst, now I'm about to do mine. But you've got children involved. And for that reason, I'm coming on here. I'm asking every father who could possibly do something, when he could have changed that with just being compliant and being sensible, like you, coming and receiving a check when I've offered you a handshake, and then you end up in the national press saying you never got anything, when I offered it to you, for the reasons I never paid it to you eventually, because of your wife's behavior with her toxic friend, Joe Holmes. Let me tell you now for free, okay? A lot of free things going on here, right? Except the consequences. At the end of the day, I'm asking all fathers, all mothers, all parents, let's unite against these people. We either hold them accountable through the courts, or we hold them accountable through life, or we hold them accountable through their businesses, or we hold them accountable. Or they make it right. They make it right, or we will. Like my life depends on it, because it does. You make it a big mistake. The game is over. Cock a hoop going. The hooray Henry is over. The rubbing of the hands, yay, getting significance from breaking people down with false stories, thinking you can say what you like behind a pseudonym is over. You're now affecting my children. And any parent out there that is worried about their child, any parent that has had this with a child, any parent out there that is having this directly or indirectly with their children being affected by this sort of falseness or anything else, let's unite through Groundswell, the organization that brings people around the world to work against tyranny. Whether it's a government, a dictatorship, whether it's toxic families, whether it's a best friend that's fallen sour, whether it's a marriage that's broken up, do not allow this. You can do something about it. Let us help you, and let's help each other. Chris, you want to close on that?
You can actually just see the type of thing as to how they'll try to play it from here.
Yes. Yeah.
And one of the things that is the most fascinating, and this is this is their story for the whole of this year. You haven't done anything. You don't have any evidence. You don't have a case, because otherwise you would have taken us to the police, and you would have gone down the civil route. And the reality, as has been stated, is there is actually care for your families.
Yes.
You may not like that because it doesn't suit your story, but what's going to happen now could have happened then.
Yes.
There's nothing different, and you, because you took that as weakness, and you were very quiet, then you became more and more bold, then started revealing yourselves, even putting proper names there, proper situations, to the point where now you're going, oh, well, he says but what about my children? Mr. Thomas, honestly, if you had to count up the warnings that you've had directly or indirectly, it's like outrageous, and I can understand what you're saying. It's just, and when not a warning like you've been warned, a warning going, please don't do this, we're going to have to go to the police. Please don't do this, you're going to have to go to the lawyers. Please don't do this, we're going to have to go to your employers. I believe your words were, I'll roll the dice and take my chances. Right? And, bluster this, and mocking. And still we just went, you know what? This guy's speaking on behalf of his children, like he's gambling with, roll the dice and take the chances with your children's lives.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be our fault.
Shameful.
It's going to be our fault because you didn't heed the warnings, because you're so fueled by hate. You could not even turn up onto a call on time. You could not listen to calls. You could not give basic feedback. You could not operate here at a basic level. We're doing so much better without you. I promise you that. It's not like
big time.
Because
the
work we had to do to try and to get you just to do something basic, yet you can do this because it's so fueled by hate. But you can't love your children through hate, and so now you can't do both. And I fear for them, because who you're becoming through this, you can't keep just to an online forum. That is what's really concerning here. So what's happened over this whole year, and now the police cases are coming thick and fast. There are 3 being reported today.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's, by the way, can I say, it's hard to hold up falsehoods. It's easy to hold up truth.
Yeah.
Our job is way easier because we have evidence and truth.
Yeah.
You have no evidence because it's false.
Yeah.
It's very hard to hold up false. You get away with it for so long. I can understand why people are deleting stuff here and running for the hills.
Oh, yeah.
We cannot believe how much deletion is happening.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Individuals, and it's a matter of time where all of that will happen. I think there's some people who actually their pride and their egos are greater than the care for their children, and that is the greatest risk now. Yeah, the hatred that's the risk now. I understand that whatever this entity is called Throwaway. I've seen and read things where you were warned online, and Throwaway is interacted with directly, saying, "Do you actually you're going to take these people's lives down? These are not your children. This is not your family, but you're getting personal significance about being the ringleader here, and you're taking these people into hell, and that is what you're doing. So therefore, who are you?"
Well, has this Throwaway been in prison?
Yeah.
There's another one that's been in prison or a criminal.
Yeah.
These people are full of it.
Yeah, and so
full of that sort of thing.
So what's going to come out of this now is the type of thing you'll see from them, and you won't see them.
No. But so can I just say,
Sure.
this Throwaway's been in, he or she more like acts like a she.
She.
I mean, like a vicious she.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, woman I've got the greatest respect for. Woman. Okay, not bunny boilers, but Throwaway acts like a bunny boiler.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I think what's going to happen from now, and you'll see this coming out, what you won't see is Throwaway on a camera. Her Throwaway.
There we go.
Won't see is you won't see this person coming on a camera like this and going, this is the case, because there's so much hate, so much resentment, and whatever position they so-called hold in society, it could only enhance it if they were doing something genuinely virtuous. So what you'll get from Mr. Thomas is the same thing he put online when his employers actually got we got in contact with employers, and was, I've got a family. Yes, we've been trying to remind you of that for the last year. What is your problem?
Well, this is our problem.
Yeah.
Is that we don't know. We know what your problem is, Mr. Thomas. We can't do good for doing bad with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mummy hates us. That's what the problem is. Mummy hates you. Mummy Antonia. She hates us. And that's what this is. And you said as much. Antonia hates you, doesn't want to be, but I can't be involved. I need to be there and look after them. And so now you're making your problems ours when I offered you. And you know what? I'm so glad, my God, there is a God, I would have given you that check. I'm so glad I didn't. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad I didn't, Mr. Thomas. I'm so glad I didn't give you that check. Thank you.
Look at the whole situation playing out, and as you said in the meeting, our last session here, you said, this underneath all of this there's a good man there.
I said that the other day. Of course he is. He is.
Yeah.
Give him a chance.
Yeah.
Without all that background, without Antonia and all that. Oh, he's a lovely man.
And there are things that we can absolutely not. Obviously, there is a level of confidentiality of things that haven't been brought into the public domain. But Mr. Thomas, I encourage you to do something, and maybe you want to do that with Antonia, is go back over all your messages of the feedback you left on the channels, on the various Lighthouse channels. I think it would do you a great service, both you and Miss Holmes, various other people who are there. Go and have a look, because this is the type of thing that's going to come up in court, and that will come up through all of it, because they'll be going, well, you're not just sharing your opinion or your experience, because you can't be doing that, because the majority of your opinion and your experience is not based on what you've just put there. And you were actually in that place. We've got audios, we've got everything that you knew were being recorded, where you speak about, and you preferred this information about Antonia, about other, you offered information about the challenges that you were having. And I think you should be working through those challenges rather than trying to destroy us, because your children need that. So that is our...
We're always open to speaking to people about their issues or their problems, and try and find a way we can do this. But there's situations where we just cannot offer a refund, where it's just not due. We cannot set a precedent for that. No business can. And the businesses that have done that, because they're frightened of people going online, they go out of business. So if we're going to do that, we might as well just give you all the refunds, and then go and in the future, people come here, have a life change situation, which is what happened here, and they want to get a refund. It's just not possible. It just isn't, man. We can barely afford, with what we are receiving, to be able to do what we're doing. Does that make sense? If you think that this all comes from Lighthouse, you've got to be kidding me, man. I'm nearly 60, man. I've been in business. My first business when I was 6 years old. I've been producing. You've got to be kidding me, man. You've got to be kidding me. It's like whatever suits you at the time. They're not making money. You haven't got 2 pennies to rub together. You live in a £2 million now. Please, let me just close saying this. You're doing this because you want to destroy me. Because you hate me and you hate us. Because I haven't given you what you want. I haven't indulged your sense of entitlement. It's what I haven't done. Okay, you can't go to court. You can't do this through the police. You can't do this to anybody else. So what you're going to do is you're going to try and destroy our lives that affect our businesses to people who would read this stuff and have no idea of the truth and reality. Well, let me tell you what. There's going to be reality. Let me tell you what. You're going to get caught. Let me tell you that. And caught in more ways than one. C-O-U-R-T and C-A-U-G-H-T. You're going to get caught, because that's the only way we can get the facts out. There's a lot of here we can't get out, but the facts we can. And I doubt very much when it comes down to it. I doubt very, very much when you see our case, in individual and collective, that you would want us to go through the court and get your family dragged through this, because it's that bad for you. Okay, so if you don't want that in the public domain, which you won't, you'll end up negotiating out of it anyway. We could have done this ages ago, Mr. Thomas. We could have done it ages ago, whoever. But here we are. Those who live in glass houses certainly should not, but ought not to throw stones. Especially in that glass, little thin, fragile glass house. 1,000 secrets. You don't want to get out there, and nor do I. For you, for your children's sake, for your grandchildren's sake. It's terrible. But here we are, you're making false allegations with people that have this much evidence on most of the people that are online here. That's ridiculous. And eventually, when you accuse us in this area, we then have to prove our innocence, and the only way we can do that is with evidence that is not classified, but it's confidential, or it's around sexual abuse, and you can't, without permission of a person, actually do that. So now we're in a situation where how do we prove ourselves? How do we prove where we're going when we can't do that? And you know it. The only way we can do is go through a court at all, or do it out of court settlement, or to make it right outside of court. We're offering you all this opportunity now. Start getting your thinking caps in. Do we need to go down that road? Because every day costing you more. So do you want to do it or not? And here we are. We're now dealing with the Daily Mail in terms of, we're looking at libel, we're looking at compensation. These people, Daily Mail have cost us a lot of money with these false allegations. It cost us a lot. And they insisted on very short turnaround times. They cost us a lot of money and a lot of opportunities. So there will be compensation there. There has to be. There's no way around it. Okay, there's never been a libel case if this isn't one. Seriously, it's that obvious. Okay. But there will be a retraction. And if there isn't a retraction, then there will be a rewrite. And if there isn't a rewrite or a retraction, there will be a liable compensation. Or there will be all three of those things. But it's going to happen. Because now I'm protecting my children. Don't play with me. I'm now protecting my children. Do we need to go down this road? Well, as it looks now, it seems like it. But do not believe for one moment that this is going to go away. It's not going to go away. You either face it or you will face it. We will make you face it. Let's not go down this road. I know it and I admit it. I have no airs or graces. People go, why did you speak like nicely? And people like you then. Because I'm in a war, man. You understand that? I'm fighting in people's cases. I'm dealing with people whose children are either suicidal and then they end up committing suicide. And I'm scared to look at that buzz at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning because it's a child that's committed suicide and they've just found her hanging in a loft. Okay, please, man. And she's 12 or 11. Seriously, man, this does... my God. No wonder therapists are taking drugs. It's heavy stuff. Okay? And I didn't sign up for this. But believe me, here it is, and I'm not running away from it. But I never signed up for it. And there's a lot of things we don't sign up for in life, and we face and we grow and we get stronger through it. So here it is in closing. Your nonsense is now, and your lies and your accusations and your behaviors are affecting our children. It's now end of the road. Let's close this down, let's fix this and make it right. But I'm not putting up with this anymore. Stop playing games with me. And stop messing around with my life and our businesses and our children with your falsehoods. It's the end of the road. Thank you very much.